Well, at MCC I am a biology instructor, and since I've been here I've taught basically every on-campus class that we have, but I kind of specialize in the Bio 123, which is the series for people who want to major in biology, and where I've taught that course both at Dana College and at UNO, so I have a fairly good idea, what the students really need to know for that class. Before I was at MCC, I taught at Dana College. I was there for 14 years. That obviously it closed in 2010. When I was there, I was in the biology department. I was the chair of the biology department for a long time. And that job involved a lot more than what I do here, because as the department chair, I worked on budgets. We also advised students there, and so it was a little bit different. It's also a small liberal arts college, so it was mainly students, fresh out of high school that I was teaching when I was there. I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area in California. And I did my undergraduate work at UC Santa Barbara, which is a very nice place to do your undergraduate work. It's like you can hear the ocean from your dorm room and study on the beach. And when I was there, I was in the College of Creative Studies, which, being creative in biology, is doing research. And so I did research first with slime molds and then with sand crabs while I was there. From there, I went to Cornell University, and I got a PhD in aquatic entomology, and I studied insects in temporary streams, and insects really are my big thing. I love bugs. My favorite teacher was Mr. Pence, who was my biology teacher or one of my biology teachers in high school. And the first day of class, he was telling us about blue-bellied lizards, and he actually climbed up on the table and showed us what the males did in order to attract the females. And so that was very interesting. He also, since he was getting his master's degree in the summertime, he was doing his research on the lake that was in our town. And so we would go and help him seine the lake and count fish, and so it was lots of fun. I think that probably the person who was sort of most instrumental in helping me be a really good teacher was Nicole Kaufman, and she was one of my colleagues at Dana, and she was an excellent teacher and was very willing to share her techniques and give me advice. I think that before that time, I had found that lots of people, I would ask people, questions about things, and mainly the answer would be, oh, you can do whatever you want. And I'm thinking, I know I can do whatever I want, but I need some advice. I need some things to pick from for what to do. I came to teaching kind of roundabout. When I was little, I wanted to be a veterinarian. And then I got interested in research. Mainly through a prize exam through College of Creative Studies at Santa Barbara, which I won, which was actually about, you just wrote about people's research. They gave you some scenarios, which were basically people's research problems, and you answered that. And so when I was an undergraduate, I got interested in doing research. I went to grad school. When I was in grad school, I realized that research probably would not be my forte. Not that I couldn't do the research, but I wasn't really good at coming up with the new, unique questions that you need to get grants. And if you're going to do research, you have to be able to get grants. But I did find that through my graduate teaching experiences that I like teaching, and I was really good at explaining things. So that's how I sort of came about going into teaching. I think the thing that really I like best, or sort of my high in teaching, is when students figure out how to study. What I find is the the biggest problem that students have is that they don't know how to study effectively. They read their notes over and over and over, and that's not really a good way to learn things. And so when people finally kind of figure out, with some mentoring, how to actually study and be successful, that's really inspirational to me. I also get motivated by all the blank looks because I was like, okay, that means we need to try and explain this a different way, and sometimes you'll have like a really bad day and you get to the end of class and everybody's frustrated and they have no idea what's going on, and so I'll go back and I come up with some other way, or some activity to help them understand what's going on. So it's like, it's time to try again. I do use a lot of PowerPoints, although PowerPoints, I always tell people, are just glorified overheads, but there certainly are things that, that can be done more effectively that way. I love the learning management systems. Blackboard is great because you can give students more access to your PowerPoint, study guides, interacting with students that way. So I find that really helpful. And also videos like that you find on YouTube of people, explaining things can give students, a different angle of explanation because sometimes they don't get it from your explanation. That science is always changing. It's a process. I always talk about even things that I tell them about that we didn't know when I was in college. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm old, but it hasn't been that long that we didn't know all this stuff before. And so that, what we know now, probably lots of it will turn out to be wrong. And you have to keep that in mind. Oh, the things that I can say on camera. That I have lots of enthusiasm. I've actually had student evaluations that said I was a little too enthusiastic, but I do love biology. My tests are really hard, and I tell really good stories. I think probably technology and the changes in technology. When I went in grad school, I was the first generation of PhD candidates who actually got to write their thesis on a computer. So, and when I went to started chemistry as an undergrad, it was the first year that they required people to buy a calculator. And so the calculator that you can buy now for 15 or 20 bucks, costs, over 100 then. So it was a big deal. And so, I've come a long way and I know lots of technology, but on the other hand, I've actually never texted. So, yeah, technology is kind of challenging. My favorite quote is that nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution. And that's a quote by Delucchi. And it's just so true that evolution is what ties everything together. But it also explains the diversity of organisms. And so, we talk about, especially in the intro bio, about the unity and diversity of organisms, and that really is tied together with evolution. My name's Carla Delucchi, and I'm an instructor in math and natural science.